Bert, there's been an eagle, a bald American national symbol eagle flying around where you grew up at Dixie Springs Lake. Everybody thought that the eagle's nest, they had found it over at Clifton
Van
Cleve's place, and there it is, but the Game and Fish came out and said it is not, Colonel.
That looks like a hornet's nest.
No, it's some kind of, they call it a witch's broom, some kind of growth all around the tree there. And I think he's pretty excited it's not the eagle's nest, because I don't know if he could have built his house on an eagle's nest. It may be a federal law prevent that.
Oh, sure you
endangered
can.
species.
That's great.
Wait a minute.
What?
You mean Clifton bought that land?
But the eagle's nest wasn't there when he bought it.
But if the eagle would have made a nest, he couldn't cut the tree?
There's been all kind of strings attached to that.
Oh, Clifton, if you're listening, glad it wasn't an eagle's nest. Glad it's just some old algae growth.
Turkey season is coming on, Colonel.
It sure is.
Tell me about it. It's youth season.
A lot of people might not know it, but the youth turkey season is opening on March the 8th, which is this coming Thursday. So youth less than 16 can go out and you can introduce them to turkey hunting and starting this Thursday.
How did the deer season turn out so far? Have you heard much reports in your area?
I did. I think everyone had a pretty good deer season. The weather was kind of crazy, but a lot of really big deer were killed across the state.
What do you accredit that to? Management?
Management, educating the public into letting them grow to an older age class, learning how to manage their habitat. And I guess just luck the way it fell this year. I don't know. The flood was really bad last year, and there were some really good record book bucks killed right where the flood came through. So that the flood obviously didn't hurt the populations like people thought it was going to.
Why so many big deer out of Illinois? Every time I turn around, Illinois, big bucks. Just huge bucks.
I guess it's got genetics. They've been managing it for a long time also. And then the food. You got to have all those three things: age, food, and genetics to get a big buck. So if you got the grain that they have up there, the agricultural area, and then they've been managing their deer herds for years like Mississippi has, and then it all turns out to be all those three things together, you're going to make some big bucks.
Is that what Genetics Wildwood may be headed for, you think, Bert? Genetic, Wildwood,
Wildwood Genetics, their products, and I invite all our listeners, go to wildwoodgenetics.com and check them out. They've got everything you need for the field plots and things like that to get prepared, and that's right around the corner, Colonel. But I think that they're, Paula, in the future, our listeners will have some guests on from Wildwood Genetics and tell us exactly about all their research and what they're putting together.
You got to have all three of those things. You got to have the food. It's just like an athlete. Growing a good athlete, you're growing a big quality deer. So you got to have the proper genetics. You got to have the proper nutrition, and then you got to give them time to mature. And
is the nutrition need to be local and natural, or is feeding really help them?
It's according to what you feed. The average person feeds corn straight out of a bag, and that's probably provides very little, if any, nutritional value at all. A person that was on a good feeding program would provide all that. Would provide corn at the times you're supposed to provide corn. Provide a pellet that will be nutritionally complete for that animal. And then provide natural vegetation year-round. You don't just feed during the hunting season. If you want to feed something, you feed it 12 months out of the year, 365 days. So so just coming out there a week before the season and throwing some corn on the ground or putting it in a corn feeder, I wouldn't call that much of a feeding program.
Well, Colonel, I know the deer season was good, but it's been well documented over the last month about my new addiction.
What's that?
I went to Charleston, Mississippi, and I went duck hunting.
Oh.
And they said I had the perfect combination. I had good people, a championship duck caller, a championship dog, and a lot of birds.
Well, I guess that will set you on fire. Now, you might not get that all the time, but
all I know is it was that way, and I can't push fast forward quick enough to next November.
That's great.
I'm done.
And that's good. It's nothing like being on fire for something, and your passion there for waterfowl hunting now. You've lit a fire, and you got something to look forward to.
It's on like Donkey Kong.